Hey guys, on today's episode, I wanted to take a moment before we get the show started just to address a few issues I can see we're going to have with this platform. Yes, the name of the podcast is Race to Wrestling, where wrestling and race collides. That's what we're going to talk about. But I do not want anyone to ever think that me nor my co-host Ms. Destin is ever a racist individual. We shouldn't even have to state that, but I think it's going to be necessary. So when we have a conversation, we try to do it from an analytical perspective. And we try to do it in a way that is respectful to everyone, but we will speak our truth. Now, with that being said, let's go. Let's get the show started. Shit, on with the show. Yo, like I said, welcome to a brand new episode of Race to Wrestling. I am your gracious host himself, L. Scott. On today's episode, guys, we're going to cover the November the 10th, 2025 episode of Raw. I do have a couple of viewpoints that I do want to cover when it comes to that. We're going to probably talk about a couple of can't even talk this morning. And we're probably going to talk about a couple of different things as well once I get Miss Destiny on the phone. But before we get that started, we always like to take our time and let everyone know that this platform is only about commentary, and we're basically speaking to what we see and only what we see. Now, it is Race to Wrestling. We do want people to understand that we do see the racial element that is involved when it comes to wrestling. But if the WWE or AEW or TNA or any other organization decides they're going to start prioritizing and doing right by black wrestlers, then you'll never hear this podcast again. We're just speaking to what we see. Now, let me do the fair use thing because we are going to do some commentary from this week's episode, and I don't want to get the channel flagged. Right after that, we're going to get Miss Destiny called up, and we'll get this thing rolling. All right, guys, so give me a second. I'll get you right back.
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Can you hear me?
All right, we are back. And we got Miss Destiny on the phone. Miss Destiny, go ahead and say something so the people can hear you.
Hello.
Hey.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, they can hear you very, very well. What's going on, Sugarfoot?
All right, nothing.
Well,
I wanted to know if you've watched anything recently.
yes, I saw this week's episode. We're going to get right into it, but I did want to cover a couple of things before we get started, okay?
Okay.
First and foremost, Miss Destiny is not privy to the social media that we have going on for the platform, but no, you're not. But I want you to start watching, especially the one on TikTok, because I get a lot of pushback. I have been fighting people this week. So let me tell you a few things. Okay, let me tell you. So a few things. One, all right. So I posted the post when we talked about basically Carmelo Hayes, when we talked about the Street Profits, when we talked about Jey Uso, when we talked about Jade, and I think every white guy in the platform wants to challenge me and call me hateful. I just had to respond to a guy a few minutes ago that says that everything isn't about race and I'm just ignorant and hateful. And but no one ever addresses what I bring up in the videos or what you bring up in the video. They just want to call us ignorant and hateful. So, but I think we are touching a nerve with the platform. I just want you to know that.
Honestly, it's at one of those points of you have to be turning a deliberate blind eye to not see what's going on. And if that's the case, then that ain't got nothing to do with me.
I mean, I totally agree. I said this when we started this, that I knew that being that we were going to touch things on a racial element of things, I knew it was going to touch a nerve with a lot of people, especially white tea people. But I honestly say this, and I will never do this, and I want to say this to the audience, especially to the white listeners. I'm never, ever going to say something just to be mean or spiteful or just to make it about race. So, like, classic example, I know Javon Evans is going to be in the tournament coming up, and we can get into that. But I just say, hey, he's in there. So I'm not going to talk bad about him being in the spot. Now, how do I feel about him being in there? What's going to happen is totally different. But I would never, ever sit back and see a win. And that, like, I'll give you another example before we move on. A guy said to me the other day, why do I think race is causing a problem? The New Day had a nice run. And I need for people to, well, I just want him to understand this. Even when Big E was still there, people need to understand the way racism works. Throughout all of American history, there has been spots where black people have done amazing things. So you telling me about somebody getting their accolades or the New Day had a nice run doesn't negate the fact that other people are still suffering in this sport due to race, even themselves, because they can't get a leg up anymore. But and I think that has to do with the new management that's in play versus the old management, which I think Vince and his team had racial elements to them as well. But I think it's on steroids right now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's very bad right now.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about the most recent episode. And
well, let's get into it. Let's go and dive into it.
Like that.
Let's go and dive into it.
Okay.
Where you want to start?
Well, I want to start before we get to the John Cena thing. I want to start with first. I want to say the Lash Legend thing. Very, very proud of her. She just got her call up.
Yes, so, I saw that. I saw she was up there with EO on this scene, and Nia Jax. I saw her the other night.
Yes, she got called up. I think last week to SmackDown. She got paired with Nia. I don't quite like her being paired with Nia because I don't think it really makes sense from like a booking perspective.
Right.
Because they were just feuding like a month ago.
Now they tagging together. Because I'll be honest, I didn't see the scene of that one. So what all transpired in that match? So let's go over it.
So when they debuted on SmackDown, I didn't watch SmackDown because I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really watch SmackDown like that.
I don't think anybody do because I want to talk. That's in my notes to talk about. So let's come back to that.
But I did see the little clip of her attacking Alexa Bliss. I think Charlotte and Nia were having a match together, and Lash came from the crowd and attacked Alexa Bliss. It kind of reminds me of Chyna's debut. When she attacked Goldberg, Goldust's girl.
I can't think of her name right now. I know you're talking about.
I know her as Terry, but I know she had a name that was different from that.
Okay.
She was a manager to the Goldust. I
remember her ugly self. She was a very unattractive woman. But go ahead.
But it reminded me of that a lot. She cut a really good promo afterwards. And we didn't see her again until this Monday on Raw because I actually watched Raw,
right.
And it was a match between Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, and then Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. And Asuka and Kairi ended up winning the titles off of Charlotte and Alexa because Lash and Nia interfered in their match.
Okay. Oh, wait. So they lost the titles. Charlotte and them lost the titles.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to tell you about where that's going, why that happened, but go ahead.
Yeah. So after that, there was kind of like this like big brawl, and Io and Rhea ended up coming back because we haven't seen them for like a couple weeks now. So They ended up coming back, and they basically just set up that entire War Game situation. I don't know if they're going to add more people to it, but I think
they're going to go 4-on-4 this year. I honestly look like it's going to be 4-on-4, not 5-on-5 this year.
Yeah. For the men, I believe they only have 3 people on each team.
So far, yeah. But I'm going to tell you, it's going to be Roman, and I think it's going to be Brock. I think those are going to be the 2 adds to War Games, in my opinion.
I do know the whole entire. It's so funny how people said that Seth Rollins was holding Braun and Bronson back, but then they decided to line them with Logan Paul instead, as if Logan Paul won't hold them back even more.
Well, let me say this before we move on to them. I want to go back to the girls, okay?
Okay.
Because I want to tell you what I see is ready to play out. Okay. So dominoes are falling to set up things. Here's the domino that's failed with the titles. The tag titles wasn't really about introducing Lash. It was more about Charlotte dropping the title because they ready to have her go against Jade. And so, and if she's going against Jade, now I'm going to tell you, this is big to me, Despo. This is big. This is so big that if this gets handled in a manner, if it is Charlotte versus Jade, if this get handled to the point where Charlotte takes that title off of Jade already up front, then it will tell you everything you need to know about the Triple H experience and how he feels about black people. Because you would not put that title around that woman just to get her to drop it to Charlotte, who is the top dog of all time. You know what I'm saying?
And it is interesting because you could see that Charlotte doesn't mind losing to newer talent because she lost to Tiffany at WrestleMania.
Right.
So
hopefully that's where it's going.
It's going to be like, if I'm going to go against Jade, I need that title. No, it would be purely up to creative.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, if it does happen, and like I say, if it doesn't happen and Jade's over, and they put Jade over, see, to be honest with you, if you don't want people to look at it with a racial element to it, I'm going to tell you how that storyline should play out if it's going to be Charlotte Jade. Charlotte should put Jade over, and she should put Jade over well. It should be a total of domination, like Brock over Cena. It's what it should be. Why do I say that? I say that because you're trying to build her as being the prototype, to being that big, like almost like a sexier version of China. If you're going to build that, she has to knock somebody big out. And if that's the point, and like you say, if Charlotte doesn't mind putting people over, and if she put Tiffany over, a woman that we clearly could see she didn't like personally, then you could put Jade over. If they don't do that, that's going to be strictly from creative. And I totally agree, and it'll tell you a lot. So that's the way it should play out. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, and I think it is valuable for Jade to go against someone like Charlotte because right now, to get back on SmackDown Creative, right now, SmackDown's kind of struggling on the women front. Okay. So, as of right now, Jade has about 3 challengers that go against the title, and none of them are really that good.
Yeah, I can see that they're not nurturing talent, so you can't expect anybody to step up and want to do it. So,
yeah.
Okay,
so,
I don't want to go ahead.
And all of the great talent on SmackDown are doing something else entirely right.
Wow.
Charlotte and Alexa, they have War Games coming up and stuff like that. So we won't see Jade and Charlotte for like another month or two. But we need someone quickly for Jade because I think Jade might be on Survivor Series. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if they left her off of it entirely.
Well, if she's champ,
if
she's champ right now, they're probably going to take her out of the Survivor Series, or at least out of War Games.
Yeah, I don't expect her to be in War Games, no. I expect her still to be on the Survivor Series pay-per-view.
Right. Well, I just say it like this. We'll see how that works out. But on to it. You were ready to move on to the men. What was you ready to say about division? So do you think they're ready to center Logan Paul in division, or do you think they're ready to center Braun as their leader?
I think with the aura of the division on this last Raw, it was very Logan Paul center heavy. Braun and Bronson didn't really have that big of a say in the little segment that they did have. True. What had happened was Logan Paul had his promo, and then the Vision came out, and they had this whole entire thing where Jey Uso came out and Cody came out to help Punk and all stuff like that, and it's just okay, so I hope this Vision thing with Logan Paul as leader is not going to be a thing.
Okay, this is my opinion of what they're doing. I honestly think that they want to make it 3. Well, let me get back it up. I think this is more about Logan Paul than it is about Braun and Bronson. I think that they just said, because I saw an article recently, I didn't read it, but the title said that Logan Paul is basically quitting boxing or whatever he's doing completely. Okay. So if he's doing that, then that means, if I read that correctly, if he's doing that, then that means that he's ready to devote real time to wrestling. And it's that's all the WWE was waiting for. And they said, let's put this man at the title. Let's put the title on him and get him there. And they ready to fast track him. You see it's happening. You see it. And if they are fast tracking him like that, then I wouldn't be surprised they're going to put him in the leader division. Now, if they do that, it's going to ruin Braun Breaker, in my opinion, though.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me because I would feel disrespected if I was Braun and if I was Bronson, because you're telling me that I'm being led by someone who has sniffed wrestling for like a couple of matches while I've been wrestling for years. That's crazy.
That's why I don't think he's, and that's why, in now actually, I don't think he's going to be the leader. I think they're going to try to make them like a leaderless group. Now, I think what's going to mess them up if they go with Brock Lesnar at War Games, because you know his presence dwarfs there. So it's going to put them as second fiddle, and if it does that, it's going to kill them. It's going to slow their momentum down, because you know Brock's not going to be there after that match. So I wouldn't put him, honestly, I wouldn't put him in it. I get it, for some pop he will be there, but this is the moment that you give somebody else the spot, like you gave Bronson Reed last year. Bronson was a nobody until right before War Games last year. And then now look at him. It's time to do someone else. I'm actually going to throw a name out here that needs to be, first and foremost, let me back it up. First and foremost, it should not be Roman, the fourth person in War Games. And that's just from a person who loves Roman. It should be, and I can't believe I'm ready to say this, it should be LA Knight. It should be. He should be the person.
LA Knight actually has like a storyline with Division that I feel like they're throwing out for War Games, which I don't think is very fair.
But see, honestly, okay, I saw a post, and this post hit it on the head about LA Knight. Somewhere he was coming to the ring recently, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, and he grabbed a sign. The sign, I can't remember what the sign said, but the sign was basically implying, give LA Knight his shot. And he was like holding the sign, right? Mm-hmm. And so now it's almost like right after that, it made reference, LA Knight came off TV. All of a sudden, instead of Cody coming, instead of LA Knight coming down to help out against Division, here comes Cody. CM Punk, here comes Cody. Yeah. And then the last one has to from Monday night. I have never seen them cut someone's promo in the middle and go to commercial break. Mm-hmm. It's like they're telling LA Knight, we don't like you. And I was like, man, that's messy. And it's like Triple H has a personal for this man. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Did he hit on Stephanie or something? Did he hit on Stephanie or something like that? What happened?
Well, Stephanie and Triple H are divorced, so they're just playing happy family. But I truly believe that they're not.
You don't think they like each other? You don't think they in love?
No.
Well, I don't know. Hey, who knows with them? Who knows? But go ahead, I'm listening.
But I did hear somebody say that WWE wanted to make this like all-star babyface War Games team. So I wouldn't be surprised if Roman is the fourth person for the babyface side.
Oh, he is. He's gonna be it.
I don't know about the heel side. I don't know. It could be Brock. I don't want it to be. Really don't want it to be, but I don't know. But
it's gonna probably be Brock. In my opinion, because I can't think. Only other person I can think of is, and it's an obscure person. I thought two people actually. They could throw Dom in there, but I think Dom is in the whole Intercontinental thing, so they're not gonna probably do that. And then I was gonna say, if you did that I can see Austin Theory popping his ass up somewhere. I can see that.
I don't know the Austin Theory, but Dom would make somewhat sense because he does have a connection to Logan Paul.
Yeah, I see it, but see, can we get back to the element of the show for this topic though? I have something to say about it. Okay. It's unfortunate that after this Monday night's episode, and we're going to talk about each one of the people, but I'm going to do an overgloss, and I'm going to, for one subject before we start talking on these ones individually. So it was unfortunate that I watched basically like the click is what happened Monday night. So you say John Cena, for no goddamn reason, wins the Intercontinental belt other than for his selfish reason. It does not help the business. And then I see Nikki Bella bypass all that talent after being on the shelf for years and years and years and years. Now she's ready to jump right into the title picture. At the same time, Charlotte says, they put it on a black woman. Let's get me in this title picture. She drops that title so she can get right into it. It was the legacy night. It was like clicked up all night long. And it bothered me so bad because your business is dying, and instead of trying to fix it, it's like y'all still just hoarding all the resources over there for yourself. And
what's so funny?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like it's so funny because usually I would agree with you, but this time I don't.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The reason I don't agree is because I think SmackDown needs younger talent way more than Raw does.
Okay.
I think Raw does a very good job on juggling their entire roster, where there is there is decisive mid card, there's a decisive undercard, there's a decisive main event, right? And I think everybody has importance, very, very strong importance, to the point where whenever somebody goes missing from Raw, you can feel it. Naomi, you can feel it. Liv, you can feel it. When Rhea's gone, you can feel it. I think that's very, very important that everyone has such a very important spot on Raw. And that's why I think Raw is a better show. Whereas with SmackDown, half the roster could leave tomorrow and you wouldn't notice it.
well, let's just be honest. They have always dwarfed SmackDown over Raw. They've always prioritized Raw over SmackDown. So it makes sense.
But right now it's egregious.
Oh, it's horrible. Well, did you see the numbers, Desipu? Did you see them? Did you see how they said this was the first?
A very big gap.
Well,
because if you look at the numbers for NXT, for Raw, and for SmackDown, SmackDown is noticeably.
Well, I don't know if this was a satire page or this was a real report, but I saw a report this week that said that last week's episode of SmackDown, for the first time in like years and years and years and years, didn't get 1 million viewers at all to watch the episode live. And it's like, and then did the crowds have oh my God, we've been talking about the overpricedness of the tickets. And look, first and foremost, let me say this, and I'm gonna get into it. I'm sorry, but I have to say this. All right. So in the world today, we're watching them cut off food stamps for 40 million people. At the same time, they are sending $40 billion to Venezuela. And then now you're telling me that the American people, there are actually more people here in America now than there are jobs right now. And then, so what you're basically seeing is that it's like, again, people hoarding resources and not caring about the future of this country. And so I want to equate it to SmackDown and to wrestling is this. I don't know what WWE thinks. If your viewership is consistently dropping to the point to where you're having to shrink the angles of the camera just to make it look like a full show and you're not addressing it, you're just going to keep going down this path, it makes no earthly sense other than you're trying to crash that business. And that's why I keep saying Vince McMahon has to own it, because what other reason would his son-in-law go this egregious to about crashing out on the show? Because he's not trying to make a good product. It is, let me give the championship to my wife and my friend and my homie and my cousin and that guy, but forget any of this talent. And it's starting to show heavy to me. I don't know if I'm the only one, but that's what I want.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Because with Raw is a full show every week.
Yes.
But with SmackDown, with tickets, they'll have like 2,000 odd seats that aren't filled at all.
Yeah.
And that's something that you don't usually see with WWE. The last time we saw it with WWE was around 2019-ish.
Yeah, that's what they were. But yeah, they were talking about right before COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the last time that we saw WWE not be able to fill out an arena. So if you're going down the path you were before COVID, before Roman turned heel, that's not a good path to go to.
No. And what doesn't make sense to me is that, cause like I even heard they had to do that 2-for-1 special for Saturday Night Main Event and that SmackDown the day before because they couldn't get an audience for the SmackDown. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what are you gonna do? Look, this business is dying for an organic star. The reason why I always bring up Goldberg is Goldberg the best wrestler of all time. Now we know. No. Come on. Let's be honest. Let's just be honest. No. But I am a fan of that run because it was so, no one saw it coming and it was amazing to watch. They did it perfectly up until they didn't. But what I don't make sense with WWE is right now is this. Okay, I'm not saying it has to be a black person. I know people think that they watch this podcast are going to think that's all we're going to say. That's not what I'm saying. We're saying due to race, y'all keeping people from especially from Black American culture from being stars organically. I can see that, but it's also too y'all just in general are just trying not to pick certain people. Or y'all trying to pick certain people versus having an organic star. Because I'm going to be honest, what makes the business worth watching, like I say, Goldberg, what made me want to watch and buy his merchandise was because it was something we had never seen. It just, and now, hell, I even give you one even better. It ain't even got to be a big burly guy like Goldberg. The Daniel Bryan thing could have been bigger, but y'all basically kept trying to stifle that the entire time it was happening. So it's like they don't want to make money or make money and be stars if they can't pick who the star is. And to me, that is racist in itself, especially if it's going to be against black people, i.e. Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley, who both of them should be Hall of Famers, five-time Hall of Famers. That's what, and I'm not saying they're not Hall of Fame. I'm just saying these guys should be in people's top 10. That's how amazing they should have been.
Well, I will say this. You mentioned Saturday Night Main Event. I'm assuming you mean the one where John Cena's going to have his last match?
No, I was talking about this one that just passed. That was the one that they had to bundle the tickets together because SmackDown couldn't get any seating. That's what I was saying.
Oh, well, it makes sense to me because that Saturday Night Main Event was trash. But
it was all right.
It was trash. But I will say that I feel like they're trying to build hype for this new Saturday Night Main Event, and we have John Cena to thank for that because John Cena said that he really enjoyed his time at the Performance Center because he recently went to the Performance Center to say hi to the talent and stuff like that, right? He said he really enjoyed his time there, and he saw a lot of promising talent. So he pushed to have the last Saturday Night Main Event be basically NXT versus main roster.
So you think Javon's gonna make it to the title match?
I don't know if Javon's gonna make it that far, but I do think that Javon is going to be on Saturday Night Main Event. Maybe not against John Cena, but against somebody. But I think that's very big because there's going to be a lot of eyes on that Saturday Night Main Event. I mean, John Cena's last match, people are going to rave over that.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know who his opponent's going to be, but they're going to rave over it. And I think that this is a great time for Javon, for Oba, for all the people that have basically been walking the tightrope of main roster and NXT. This is a great time for them.
Well, I'm going to tell WWE something. I'm going to speak directly to them. I would say right now, if you catch this podcast and you hear this out my mouth, you should do this. And it's hurting my culture, but it will help you tremendously. Black people are amazing to watch, and everyone wants to see them, whether you admit it or not. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack from online for saying that, but it's true. And being that that's true, and this business is hurting, you need to go ahead and pull all them young guys up from NXT. Let them get on that main roster like at a pay-per-view like you talking about, a Saturday Night Main Event, and let them show the hell out. And if you let them show out, the viewership is going to go through the roof. People are going to come sit back down. And then you do like you always do. You'll push them back to the back and put CM Punk back in his position and Seth Rollins. And everything will be great with the world all over again. That's the blueprint. Sarcasm.
It would be nice if they decide to do the NXT thing, that they keep the NXT people at the forefront. That would be really nice, especially for SmackDown.
Yeah.
But I feel like they deliberately don't do it for SmackDown. And with the call-ups, they've been so sporadic, and majority of the people who have been called up on SmackDown are suffering right now. Like Tiffany, suffering.
Why you say that?
I say that because I feel like, even though I don't personally like Tiffany, I feel like she would be much stronger on Raw. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of people are doubting her abilities just because she's on SmackDown.
Well, damn, that's messed up. That's messed up, especially that's messed up for SmackDown, for real. And it kind of, I'll be honest with you. I said this on the previous podcast we did. What's the girl that's the heavyweight champ? I can never say her name properly. What's her name?
Stephanie Vacure?
Yeah, Stephanie Vacure. Whatever that lady's name is, right? Her. When she beat Tiffany at Crown Jewel, I was like, what in the world? So it was like, it kind of leads to what you're saying. But also, too, doesn't that diminish Jade even more? Because you're basically saying Tiffany isn't good enough to be like at Raw Talent, and then Jade can't beat her unless she injured. That just diminishes her. You know what I'm saying?
So, and to be honest with you, a lot of people, whenever it comes to individual wrestlers, a lot of people's solution is just move them to Raw. We can't bloat Raw like that. Not everybody can be on Raw.
It doesn't
to pack out SmackDown.
Well, I'll be honest with you. It doesn't, from a business aspect, as a businessman myself, it doesn't make sense for WWE to have 3 shows on television, but only want to prioritize 2 of them, and you have talent just sitting there. It just doesn't make sense. It's like saying, I don't want, like, do you not want SmackDown to do Raw numbers? Do you not, like, I mean, class that we always bring up Carmelo Hayes or the Street Profits all the time. Being that you've thrown them to the away into the trash anyway, and your show is trash, you might as well just let them shine and shut all of us black people up about y'all don't like black people. But I think the reason why they won't do that is because if they get there and they make that show hot like Obafemi and Trick never doing that in NXT, they ain't gonna have no excuse. And I think they like excuses. Just my opinion. So, but
it's just, and it's not even the fact of like it doesn't have to be like intricate storylines or anything like that, because I thoroughly enjoy NXT, and most of the storylines on NXT are silly and kind of primitive, but they're enjoyable. They're entertaining.
Let me ask you this. Outside, excuse me, outside of everything we talked about, John Cena, how do you feel? Excuse me.
Are you okay?
Hold on, I'm choking. Oh, okay. How do you feel about him winning the Intercontinental belt? Do you feel like it's hurting? Do you feel like it helped? Or do you feel indifferent? What do you feel about it?
I feel indifferent. I don't think it's going to hurt the business or anything like that, but I don't think it's like the best thing ever either. I think it's just trying to make John Cena a Grand Slam champion before he retires, because title reigns aren't title reigns anymore. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like,
oh no, it does. It makes sense.
Title reigns and accolades on paper matter more than the actual reigns themselves these days.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So, and like people will call out and be like, "Oh, John Cena has this many titles, or Charlotte has that many titles, or whatever." But it's like, do we remember half of them? That's what is more important to me.
Okay.
I would rather have memorable and entertaining title reigns than have 18 billion of them on paper.
I agree. I guess for me, I don't like it. And it's only because I am a business guy, for one. And two, I'm about the company. Meaning, I'm about the best storyline should win. And see, your business is hurting right now. WWE is hurting financially. They're hurting for viewership. They're hurting. And John Cena, who can't even walk well, is it the best thing to keep giving him titles just because he was great 10, 15 years ago? And see, what bothers me about John comes off like a hypocrite to me. And I hate to say this, because John Cena was the guy who got all up in The Rock's patootie and basically told him, you was about Hollywood and yourself. And John Cena said, it's about this business. Then if your business is suffering, and if Dom is on the come up, then you need to get the hell out of the way. I don't care if you didn't get to win the title. Each wrestler did not get to do you realize Macho Man never really was the heavyweight champion like that?
Yeah. And that's what I'm kind of saying. Like,
it doesn't diminish him though.
Need more for some reason. But like, it's like a thing of, it's just the IC title. Like, is it really that important?
It is no, but see, no, cause see, all right, I'm ready to age myself, but I've been watching wrestling since the 80s, right? In the 80s, the television championship, Dusty Rhodes and Tully Blanchard went back and forth for it. I cared. I cared. I wanted Dusty to win it so many times. I cared about that, right? Intercontinental belt, Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels. Did you care? I cared. Everybody cared at that moment. It was about something. So when Stone Cold became the heavyweight champion and The Rock was the Intercontinental champion and him and Triple H was going back and forth, it mattered. They could damn near headline the show from the mid-card. It mattered. Can you tell me somebody in the last 10 years there's been an Intercontinental champion that you give a damn about? No, because they don't give a damn about none of them belts. Belts matter.
And it's not that I'm saying that the IC title I don't care about, because actually the last few challengers, like Braun, Jay, Dom, I've cared about all three of those men, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the title. I know that's unpopular in this house, but
well, it's just because Sami Zayn don't. Well, go ahead. I'm not gonna dog Sami. Go ahead.
But it's one of those things of, again, if accolades mean so much more on paper, enough for John Cena to become Grand Slam champion, Does
But
it really matter in the next like 15 years?
No, it
for us to
doesn't.
look back
No.
and be like, oh, he never won the IC title. That's
Yeah,
kind of
I'll
crazy.
be honest with you,
It's
Des. That's it. I'm gonna tell you. I'll be honest with you. I didn't even realize it until Monday night. I didn't even know it. If someone had quizzed me and said, how many times did John Cena win Intercontinental Belt? I would have said at least 5 times. I don't know. How many times did he win it? To know the man had never won it, that would have shocked me.
Yeah.
So I just don't, to me, again, your business is hurting. Now, let me say this, because I want to move on. I don't want to get stuck on the subject, okay? Now,
Okay.
Jay. All right, I gotta bring up my Jay Watch, Jay Uso Watch. That's what we're gonna call it. Okay.
Okay.
This past Monday night has to be one of the lowest points for me for Jay Uso. I honestly should have found some funeral music, because let's just be honest. When I'm watching him in the ring and Cody's champion and Punk is champion, and I watch Jay Uso have a better year than both of them up until they decided to crash out Jay Uso. Makes no sense to me. Now, Jay is in the back seat to the point where I just look at him and I'm like, po thing. And I'm sitting there thinking
it's gonna be even worse if Roman gets added to it.
Oh
like,
my!
Roman gets added to it, it's over.
Oh my God! It is horrible to watch. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, you know, sometimes they have a short game run, then they have a long game run. I am hoping for Jay that they are setting him up for a long-term run as a heel, and they are just laying the tracks for him to basically show you why he's basically turned this way. And I'll use an example. I don't know how many of the audience will be Walking Dead fans, but it's like watching the episode where they show how Negan evolved from being this really, really nice guy into Negan, the dude with the bat. Yeah. And hopefully they're doing that with Jay, because if they're not, and this is just, hey, this just throw his ass out there every week, I'm going to say that is probably the most disrespectful thing I've seen in probably like the last 10, 15 years.
Well, you know how Vince McMahon had a formula when he didn't really like somebody, where he would have them just go against like some comedy mid-card character and then have them put over the comedy character?
Oh, wow. Is that how Vince would go?
No. Yeah, that's how Vince would go about it. But the Triple H formula, from what I can see, is when Triple H doesn't like you, he will give you a storyline where you're on like the tightrope of turning and drag it out and drag it out and drag it out until no one cares anymore. Like a good example of this was Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, how they kept teasing a turn there. And I think it went on for an entire year, maybe even longer than that. And then that was that.
Well, I will give you one even better than what you just said. What they've been doing with the Judgment Day, they have been teasing a breakup, no breakup, breakup, no breakup for the longest.
And what's so funny is I think there's certain Judgment Day members that Triple H is really high on. Like I can tell Triple H is high on Dominic Mysterio, for example.
Oh yeah,
but
you can tell that.
I don't think he's high on Finn Balor, like at all.
You say so is I can see that. They basically Finn Balor, his problem for me, he's just not big enough. And what I mean is not even just not even just in stature. It's just that you take a small guy, his accent is so heavy, it doesn't hit, and it's just like, where does he fit? I don't see where he fits. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
with Finn Balor, I could understand that if he was never over at any point in time.
Yeah, well, he was the dude one time.
At the beginning of his main roster run, probably he was very, 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 very popular.
Oh yeah, he was that dude. Remember before he got injured?
The point where he went against Seth Rollins, and people were rooting for Finn Balor to win that title off of him.
Right.
So, I think the reason why people don't care about Finn Balor anymore is purely because of WWE creative, and it's not Finn Balor's fault at all.
I can see that. I can see that. I can see that.
And the reason I say that, just a side note, the reason I say that, and Finn Balor recently came back to NXT for like a one-time thing, for like a homecoming, like let's bring all the big guys from NXT that were really huge in NXT just for one night only, right?
Right.
He came back for that. The crowd was hot. They loved Finn Balor, and I was like, so there
and
are
nothing happened. And like I always tell people all the time, I don't have a monopoly on what is hot and what's not going to be hot in wrestling. My main thing is just that I'm like, I keep, let me tell you something I get a lot. I get a lot of this in the comment section, Destin. This is what people say. Oh, you people just can't watch the show. Why you got to be so critical of everything? And I'm going to tell you why I'm so critical. I'm critical because I have to spend money to watch your pay-per-views. I buy your merchandise. And I'm saying, as a fan of this business, you should care what people want to see. It's like making a movie. You don't make the movie so that people don't want to see it. What is one of the most disrespectful things we hate from a movie when it ends poorly? No, we want a story that we want to see. And no one wants to keep seeing. Well, I'm ready to dog CM Punk. No one wants to keep seeing.
Why do you keep going to CM Punk?
It's not CM Punk himself.
Out of all the old dudes, CM Punk and John Cena are probably the only ones.
Let me say this. Let me say this.
Some relevance to them.
I'm gonna say it this way. This is the reason why I get, and it ain't even CM Punk because I don't even have a problem with it. I don't want people to think I got a problem with CM Punk. I don't. I just think my issue is when you all wrestlers is supposed to be that. Oh, I'm gonna give you an example. I watch basketball, right? When LeBron was getting into his seasoned years, Steph Curry hit the scene. Right? Steph Curry was a firecracker. He was hot. He was that new young guy on the scene. They won championship. Steph old now. Steph slowing down now. Steph is having to pick his spots to be that man now. Because they got a whole bunch of new young talent hitting the scene. The WWE is pretty much, forget that new talent. Let's keep riding with Steph. Steph's getting old. LeBron getting old. You can't keep doing it. You got to nurture the next talent. What happens when CM Punk's knees go out like John Cena in a few years, and you haven't developed a star to come up behind him? You're going to suffer. And what they're not doing is trying to develop new stars. They're sitting in your face, and you keep making them get disrespected, i.e. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. You don't let these people get put in. Oh, but Phil, you're not letting these people get put on because you want to make it top heavy with the old dude. They had their time. Move out the way. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
And this comes from someone who loves CM Punk. I do agree with the concept of building up new talent. We can have CM Punk now, but there's going to be a time where CM Punk is going to want to go home and take care of his dog and wife. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, because go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
No, that's okay. But there's going to be a time where he's going to want to go home, rightfully so, because he is getting old.
Yeah.
So you can't rely so heavily on CM Punk and Seth Rollins and all of them. AJ Styles is not someone they rely on at all.
No, at
they
all.
They actually don't like AJ Styles, I don't think. But
I think they don't like AJ or LA Knight. But you know what it is, and I'm gonna tell you, I implore the WWE to do this, to listen to this, because the reason why I say they need to listen to that is because I watched it happen to one of my favorite programs. Carol, let me explain it to you real quick, 30 seconds, and I'll be done. College basketball used to be a system, high school to college to the NBA. And then the way college was working was college, you come in, you be a star for maybe 2, maybe 3 years, you go pro. Then the NBA started taking players after 1 year of college. I mean, some other stuff happened, but now you got to go to college or you have to sit out. Let me say it slowly. If you graduate high school, you have to be out at least 1 year from high school before you're eligible to go into the NBA. So a lot of players would do this. They will go to teams, one specific team, play on that team like a Kentucky or a Duke, and then they'll go off to the NBA. Well, teams like my teams, the North Carolina Tar Heels or the Duke Blue Devils, let me even say it better. Let me slow it down. I'm saying it to them all over the place. I'm trying to explain it to you instead of just saying it like it is, because I know you don't watch basketball. But basically what I'm saying is this. Once ball players became one and done, what happened to college basketball was that they didn't give time for new players to come up behind them and develop because they were coming in and leaving. And then the program couldn't survive anymore because they had 2 and 3 years to develop a player, and they don't have that anymore. And they get 1 year with a player in there. If you don't win the championship, if you can't get none of them new guys in the next year, you're going to crumble the next year. And see, WWE is backing itself into the corner like that is because, and kind of in reverse, the WWE is backing themselves in because they are refusing to develop the young talent for when the old talent leaves. So now what's going to happen is when the old talent just go up and quit or die or whatever on us, they're going to say, oh shit, we got this down period, like the ruthless aggression area where nobody wants to watch it.
That's so funny that you don't like the Ruthless Aggression era, but I think that's both me and Nave's favorite era of WWE.
It was not, well, that's because you grew up in it, but I'm just saying it was not the most entertaining years of wrestling. It's just, it wasn't. And I said a lot of that shouldn't, I went long-winded for no reason. Shouldn't even say it all.
Yeah, no, but the Attitude Era is a little too old for my blood. I don't know anything about it. But the Ruthless Aggression era was me and Nave's favorite. But I guess that's an unpopular opinion.
the Attitude Era was so popular because that was the era they did try new things. You got new types of matches, new types of characters, and then I hate to say it, but you had multiple guys that Vince liked and allowed to be stars, and it happened. You know what I'm saying? Because if Vince didn't like Stone Cold, if Vince didn't like The Rock, could we imagine where that era would have been at? Because they wouldn't have been stars if Vince did. The Rock would have still been Rocky Maivia if Vince didn't like him. He was like, nope, that's who you're going to be.
Yeah.
So that's my thing.
And my thing is, and WWE is not going to do this because they love their sponsorships now more than ever. But if they really want to kickstart on getting people to watch again, they should probably gut the PET thing that they have going on.
Well, let's just be honest. Can I say something that I'm glad you brought that up? Just real quick. All right. I get it, WWE. You wanted your top star because he was Hulk Hogan did it and John Cena did it to walk old ladies across the street and hug babies and all that. I get it. You want that. It is 2025 in a cesspool called America. Okay, you got kids at 10 and 12 smoking weed and drinking and having, this is all happening. That era that you needed, that is gone. They are putting all kinds of stuff into cartoons that shouldn't be there and then everything. I'm sorry, right now, if you wanted to be hot, then CM Punk should be able to stand right in the middle of the ring and say, Seth Rollins, get your monkey ass the fuck out here. So I can put my hands the fuck on you and it not be a problem. That's what I say.
And I just will say the whole entire kids thing doesn't make sense to me because I remember watching old Attitude Era stuff and having things like Triple H telling women to flash people in the crowd, and there were children in there.
Yes, so, come on.
They didn't care back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Not saying that they should have women flashing people now, but like this whole entire for the children thing, I don't buy
Look, it don't make sense, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Again, I say this all the time to you, Destin. I say it all the time. Wrestling, I get it. You want to control certain aspects, but other aspects need to be left alone. Wrestlers need to be allowed to pick their personas and to be given airtime to see how it resonates with the crowd. If it don't resonate, cut them, say, sorry, it didn't work, and move on. But this whole, I don't want to let you do, I don't want to. Then you wonder why certain people can't ever get out of the starting spot. That's why. Yeah. Because I've heard of some of those. Because have you ever heard of some of these characters they try to give these people over the years? I've listened to these old wrestlers, and they tell you the character, I want you to be Turbo Man. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go out there and vacuum everybody's feet. What are you talking? That's stupid.
Well, I mean, Vince McMahon turned Kerry Von Erich into Texas Tornado.
Exactly. And if he knew he only had one foot, he probably would have made him something different and made something crazy like that. It just doesn't make sense. Look.
Well, to be fair, Vince didn't know that he had only one foot. No one knew. But
I got it. I guess for me, the thing is more than anything else is that you could find, I always use The Rock as the example. He had a chance to evolve from Rocky Maivia all the way to what do we know him now as is the final boss. He was allowed to evolve into that. That's what makes The Rock. And let me say this to the guys that says, you're proving my point, there's no racial issue. You ever heard of a thing called statistical anomalies? Doesn't mean because it's one person that this means racism died. If it did, what year did the shit die? Because it ain't dead. Okay, The Rock is the anomaly. He is not normal. And so what I'm saying is if The Rock was never allowed that grace, just imagine what he would have turned out to be. Just imagine what wrestling would have turned out to be without the guy who's the number one guy of all times at this point. So I'm just saying to myself, y'all may not like Montez Ford today. Hell, I don't really care to see Montez Ford today the way they have him on the screen. But we don't know what's in his head. We don't know what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just give these people the opportunity, move out of the way, and then that way, for all the people to say I'm just being hateful, I got to sit here and shut up and just say the man won't good enough. But it ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I agree. You got to try. And the last thing I will say is,
go ahead. Sorry.
I know WWE has never confirmed this, and it's all a rumor, but I understand going PG after all the Chris Benoit and the steroid trials and all stuff like that.
Ooh, I saw that this morning when he headbutted Big Show off that ladder. I was like, oh God. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I get it. We went PG after that, but that was like over a decade ago. I think it's time we can move.
And I'm glad you said that. And we're gonna close the show out of that. I'm gonna say something to that too, and that bothers me.
Also, I just want to preface this to the viewers because I know what you're about to say.
Go ahead.
We have completely differing views on Chris Benoit. Anyway,
okay,
go ahead.
Me and her have different. I'll give you the final word, and then we close out the show. Then, but let me say this. My issue is that you remember we went to go see that CT movie with Will Smith. You remember that?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
Oh my God, we took you. You was younger, but anyways, there's a movie about football play. I can't believe you forgot that. I didn't know you didn't remember that.
It must have been a long time ago.
But we went to go see this movie. It's a movie about the doctor that named CTE. There's Will Smith played this man in the movie, right? And they basically showed how he did the autopsies on those former football players and what they went through. And when they were showing players in here, they were doing really volatile things like what Mr. Benoit did, right? And what I'm saying to it is this. I am not condoning the behavior of anything that he did with his family. But what I am saying is that we cannot act like this man did not have a brain problem, is my thing. And my thing for the WWE is this, I get it, but you did just like big business always do. You allowed that man to go out there and crash out week after week after week because he made you money. And the moment you need to step up and take some responsibility, you let him take it all on his own and you discarded of him. That's my issue with that. It's not to condone his behavior. Oh my God, I wish I could only imagine what his family, the rest of the family had to go through after that. It's not that.
Yeah.
But this
you
thing
should watch the Dark Side of the Ring episode. You'll know exactly what the rest of the family went through.
See, for me, I'm a kind-hearted person. I don't even want to know. It's just for me, I don't want to see things like that because I know what it is. But I saw that man. I saw what that era did. I know what them drugs do to you. But what we keep acting like is without nuance, that this stuff is just, oh, he bad, discard. No, how did we get there? And see, that's my issue. And that's all that I wanted to say. But I'm done. That's what it is.
Well, since I get the final word, I will say this. I do agree that WWE should have taken more responsibility in it because Chris Benoit was dealing with not only brain problems, but also unattended to grief because the Eddie Guerrero death hit him extremely hard. Like they said, Chris Benoit died in 2008, right?
I know it's been a while. It's almost been 20 years at this point.
I think it was 2008. If I'm right, in 2008, that was 3 whole years that Chris Benoit went through unaddressed grief, right?
Mm-hmm.
WWE should have sent this man to counseling, to therapy, should have told him to stop wrestling, all that stuff. I do agree.
Mm-hmm.
However, there is a woman and a child who are no longer with us.
I get it.
So,
I get it.
I can understand why a lot of people have their reservations about even mentioning Benoit. I can understand.
I get it. Hey, I understand. That is one of those moments that I tell people all the time. People think that there is not a common ground to be found, and I think there is one. And again, I always say, I do not condone any of the behaviors. I just want people to understand when you're seeing things like this, these people need to get some kind of help. Help them.
Yeah.
Help them, please, before something tragic happens. That's all that I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that was today's episode of Race to Wrestling. And Destiny, I'm going to tell you, baby girl, if we don't stop it.
We were much faster today. We had specific topics.
No. I'm talking about if we don't stop it, we probably going to get hated on by everybody. I'm going to say, look, let me just say this and then I'm going to go. I promised myself I wasn't gonna go back and forth with people in these comment sections, but some of these people are triggering. Okay.
Well, I understand. I understand. There's people that are deliberately not understanding your point. So
Oh yeah, because that's one thing I always say. Look, let me say this too to anybody who gets to this point in the episode. I promise you, this is not from hate. I said it at the start of the show. This is not from hate. And I'm open to dialogue with any and anybody about a subject. But please, 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 if you're going to just disagree, please disagree about the topic. Don't move the topic to whatever conversation you want to have. Talk about what I said, and then we'll go from there. But anyway, that was the show, guys. Catch you on the next one. I'm not even going to play with it. See ya. We out. Peace.